the reality of being a homeowner is that one thing you will never run away from is utility bills. And when we started living here, our utility bills were not that bad. And then eventually, at some point, we found ourselves paying something between, and at some point, we started paying, I think, around 6 to 7 thousand a month on utility bills. And I can tell you right now that we are paying half of that, somewhere in the 2,500 to 2,700 on our utility bills, and that is including our raise and taxes and water and all that we need to pay for. So today I'm going to share with you some of the updates that we did to our home that allowed us to be able to halve our electricity and utility bills as much as we did. And I think maybe some of you might want to consider some of these things next time when you're thinking of doing updates to your home. Consider some of those things that you can do that will actually help you to save a little bit of money on your home every month and leave you with a little bit of extra change in your pocket. So let's get into the first thing that we did. When we moved into our house, we used to have an electric stove. And as somebody that loves to cook a lot, I'm not somebody that uses pressure cookers, air fryers. I'm old school. I like to do my cooking on the stove, and I love slow cooking. That will cost you a lot when it comes to the amount of money you spend. Because of the time that I spend in the kitchen and cooking and all of that, it can get a little bit expensive with the electricity. So one of the things that we did was we replaced our electric stove with a gas stove. And funny story is, the day that they came to start renovating our kitchen, we actually did a full kitchen renovation. When they came to do the demolition that morning, our stove died. I think it was just a sign to say it's time to say goodbye to this stove. We replaced our electric stove with a gas stove. We use an 18-kilogram cylinder that lasts us over 3 months. I think we refill it like once every over 3 months. And using a gas stove is quicker and it's more affordable than worrying about how much it costs you to run your stove every day, especially if you're somebody like me that cooks a lot. And in order to replace your gas stove, guys, you don't need to do a full kitchen renovation. If you've got an electric hob, you can replace your hob with a gas hob, and you don't actually need to run a line. If you are using a 9-kilogram cylinder, you can put that inside a cupboard, and all you need is a plug, because most of the hobs that we have now, they come with a plug and need to be plugged into the wall, and you can basically get your electrician to do that and put in a socket underneath your cabinet, and you are good to go. My mom recently got her kitchen renovated, but before that she had a small gas cylinder with a cooker top, and that is what she was using, even though she had an electric stove, just to avoid the cost of electricity and just to minimize that. Sometimes they would use a stove, yes, if you're doing something quick, but if you're going to cook like something long like a stew, or going to cook oxtail, no, it's not going on the stove unless you're going to buy yourself a pressure cooker or something like that, which I don't have and I don't own. Yeah, but you don't need to do major renovations in order for you to replace your electric cooktop with a gas cooktop. We drink a lot of coffee in my house, and one other thing that I did was I replaced my electric kettle with a stovetop kettle. And now that we're using gas, then we're no longer using the electric kettle. And one thing that I can tell you with an electric kettle, especially the ones that we have now that sort of switch themselves off when they boil, they waste a lot of electricity, because somebody will switch on the kettle and then go and sit down, and while they're sitting down there, the kettle will boil and switch itself off, and you'll forget that you've had the kettle on, and then you'll come back and switch it on again. That is one of the reasons why I got a stovetop kettle for my home, because my husband is one of those people that will get so caught up in the game while he's watching the sports, and then will have to boil the kettle like 3 times before he actually makes his cup of coffee. So I got rid of my electric kettle and got a stovetop kettle, and I've never looked back, especially when it's a whistling one, because when it boils you have to get up and go switch it off, so you can't switch it off and go back without making your coffee. You are forced to make your coffee at that moment, and it saves you a little bit there. After we replaced our gas stove, the next thing that came was covering our pool. The next thing we did was getting a solid cover for our pool. That made such a huge difference in our bill, in both the water bill and also in the electricity bill. So when you have a solid pool cover, the first thing it saves you on is you don't refill your pool as often, because I think also that year it was so hot. I think every week we had to refill the pool like maybe twice to have enough water in the pool. So we didn't need to refill the pool ever since. I think ever since we've got the pool cover, we had to refill the pool once, and that was because we had to do repairs on the pool, so they had to drain the water a little bit. But other than that, we have not had to refill the pool at all in the, I don't know how many years now that we've had the pool cover. And also it saves you money on the chemicals that you use in the pool. You don't have to keep changing up all the stuff that you put in the pool that often. You use very little chemical in the water because of the debris. You don't have a lot of dirt going into your pool. You don't have a lot of debris going into your pool, so you're not running your pump as often. So that actually saves you a lot of money, and I can tell you it makes such a huge difference, and you don't even have to stress that much about the maintenance. I mean, you do get comfortable with not cleaning your pool. I get away with not running the pump that often, but you need to cover your pool. If you've got a pool in your house, those net covers, please put them away. Get yourself a solid pool cover. We got ours, I think, when we got it, we got a quotation for like 5,800. By the time we put it in, the prices had already gone up. I think we paid like 6,200 to get a pool cover, but it has been totally worth it, and we have never looked back, and you should actually consider doing that for your home. The next thing we did was install solar panels. Installing solar panels, like I said, in my village home, it cost us about 70,000 to put in solar panels. And once we did that, we expected a huge change in our bill, and it was significant, but it wasn't enough. I think at that stage we were paying like 3,500 rand on our bill, and I was expecting that maybe now that we've got the solar and everything, we're going to start paying maybe somewhere in the 1,000 to 1,500 rand range, but it wasn't like that. One thing I didn't know is that even if you have solar panels, you still had to pay a service fee for the electricity. The fact that the municipality provides electricity to your property, here in Joburg you still have to pay for the service fee. I don't know how it works in other areas, but we had to still pay a service fee which was over 1,000 rand, and that came as a shock to me to say, why are we getting charged? Why are we still getting charged like a 1,000 rand service fee on our bill when we have solar panels? But yeah, that is the reality of living in Joburg. It's not cheap, it's not a joke. And the next thing that we had to do was switch our electricity to having a prepaid meter. And once we switched to a prepaid meter, that is when we eliminated the service fee of 1,200 and something that we were paying at that point. Putting in a prepaid meter, that cost us another 6,000 rand in order to switch to prepaid here in Joburg. So after we put in a prepaid meter, things have been good. But this year, I think it was sometime last year, they came up with this thing where now if you're on a prepaid meter, we still have to pay like 200 rand a month for the services and all of that. But it's not as bad as when we were paying like 1,200 or 1,300 for electricity provision to our property. It really makes a huge difference when you really do consider the kind of updates that you do to your home and the kind of impact that will have on your monthly expenses and all the changes. And you never stop trying to make it better. Even now, I mean, we've had increases in electricity, we've had increases in services and rates and taxes. I think last year they did a review of our rates and taxes, and then our property rates went up. Why, I don't know, but it is what it is. So now we are back to paying like 2,500, somewhere there, 2,800. But there was a point where our bills actually went to like 1,800. It was just after the review of our property rates and taxes that it actually went up. I think our property rates and taxes almost doubled. But yeah, it's a learning curve, and every day we try and find ways to minimize our bills when it comes to utilities. But I think with Eskom, we are fighting a losing battle. They've requested a 38% increase. I think it's a 36% increase for the year 2025, and if you are still using the normal electricity, yeah, you better be prepared and start budgeting for that, because when June comes and the rates go up, I just hope that they don't grant them the increase, because if they do get that 36% increase on electricity, it's just going to be ridiculous, and a lot of people are not going to be able to afford to have electricity. So, and as a bonus tip, I think the one thing that each and every single one of us needs to do on a yearly basis is to be calling our insurance, your household insurance and your car insurance. You need to be in contact with them. Every year they send you a letter to tell you that your rates have been going up, and I think that when you get that message to say your rates are going up next month, that is the opportunity for you to take your phone and call them and say, I don't think I can afford this. And they will, in most cases, consider giving you a discount. I've done it a few times where I just called them and said, hey, I've just noticed that you have increased my insurance rate, and I don't think I can afford that. Is there a way that you can take it down, or should I consider getting an insurance? And I think you need to be intentional when you call your insurance to get a discount, because a lot of people much rather prefer searching for a new insurance and then switching insurance. I don't like doing that. It's a lot of effort for me. I hate giving out my details all the time and filling out forms and those type of things, even though now it's like a verbal thing. But I hate answering questions about myself and my home and all of those details. So I would rather stick with one insurance, and then that way I know that I've gone through all the things that I need to be covered for, and I don't need to worry about trying to remember everything. And when you negotiate for a discount on your insurance, please also ensure that they do not lower your cover. In most cases, when they want to lower your insurance, they will try and get you to remove some of the things that you are covered for. So you will think that you're saving on your insurance, whereas now you are being under covered or underinsured. So make sure that even when they give you a discount on the increase, they are still covering you for the same thing. So don't allow them to bulldoze you into reducing your cover, because that way you're losing out at the end. But every one of us every year should be calling our insurance to make sure that we get a discount, and especially if you don't claim. Yeah, I wanted to share that with you, just to say that when you consider doing renovations to your home or updates to your home, think about all those little things that you can incorporate into your home in order for you to be able to save a little bit of money especially on a month-to-month basis. You don't want to always at the end of the month feel like you're not having enough in your pocket. And that is it for my video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it and you guys have taken something from it. And I hope to see you all very soon when we talk about more things home. I hope to be vlogging again next week. As soon as Mohau is back in school, I will be going back to doing vlogs. But right now it's impossible to vlog without her being in the camera, and I try to minimize the amount of time she appears on the camera. Yeah, thank you. I'm Mom Howdy Bella. Hope to see you all next time. Bye-bye.